You typically have a special introductory price. You have launch discounts as well. So for example, for our newest launch on SyncN, we introduce discounts that we don't normally give after the launch period, which is about 2 to 3 months. So maximize, your investment. Pre-selling is a great way to get really good discounts for your property purchase. For RFO, there are also discounts, but a lot of them are limited to events, such as this. So for those who are keen to explore RFO, typically developers give event-based discounts. RLC Residences has a special event discount for those exploring to buy an RFO property. So you can check our booth there. The other advantage of RFO is if you want to move in and use the property, you can do it already, right? The typical terms are you need to pay off the full amount of the down payment, and then you get a bank loan, and then you can move in. A lot of developers offer an early move-in deal. You just pay 5%. Things that you also need to consider is for pre-selling, you get it at a relatively lower value because it appreciates over time, right? The construction period takes anywhere from 4 years to 7 years. And one of the risks that you take is there may be a chance sometimes that the construction can get delayed. In full transparency, in the pandemic, because there were a lot of lockdowns, and daming developers who had to pause construction because either it was a lockdown or there weren't enough construction workers. So there are some risks inherent to going with pre-selling. So that's a decision you need to make. If you need to use the property today, go for an RFO. If you're willing to wait for a number of years, you don't need it sa anak nyo at papasok pa lang ng college of delays. Which is why we also always advise you go with big trusted developers because these developers have the resources. Despite things that happen, tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang construction. So be aware of that. So as mentioned, for RFO, you can move in almost immediately. For RLC Residences, we have a lot of available RFO depending on what your needs are. So for those looking for properties, for example, in BGC, we have the Tryon Towers in Bonifacio Global City. For those looking for an RFO property along Rojas Boulevard, we have Radiance Manila Bay. Magnolia Residences is in New Manila, Quezon City. Access Residences at Pioneer, and Chimes Green Hills at Annapolis, San Juan. One of the advantages you get from working and exploring an RFO property with RLC Residences, a lot of our residences are mixed use or mixed development. So for example, Magnolia is right next to Robinson's Magnolia Mall. So you get a lot of benefits by having a mall right next to the property for that one. So lots of options available for RFO from a location standpoint. Now, if you think about it, one of the things you should also be asking yourself is, when I buy a property, whether pre-selling or RFO, what options are available, right? You've pinned down your budget, you know now what payment terms you can afford, but what are the other factors you can look at when you think of buying, whether pre-selling or RFO? First of all is location, right? Sometimes a lot of people overlook it, but you have to be very clear on what location you want to go into. For pre-selling, it's a little bit tricky at times because if the building will be finished 4, 5, 7 years later, you need to anticipate, well, will that location be something that will be important for me 4, 5, 7 years later? So location, very, very important, whether pre-selling or RFO. RLC Residences, for example, has properties all over Metro Manila, in Cebu, and soon in Pampanga near Clark. So always keep in mind and ask yourself, what's the location that I'm looking for? Lifestyle. Depende sa stage nyo ng buhay, sinong gagamit, what kind of lifestyle do you want to have when you buy a condo? Do you want to be in the middle of the city where the action is? Look for a property that's in the CBD of a city. Do you want something that's a little bit laid back? You can also look for options there. So for those looking, for example, for a laid-back lifestyle, RLC Residences offers 2 options. We have one in Woodsville Crest in Parañaque, and Sierra Valley Gardens in Rizal. So it also depends on what kind of lifestyle you want to live um, when you want to choose a condo. Next is, it sounds silly, but the view also is something you should always consider. You're buying a condo, which means you're gonna live above ground. So when you live above ground, ano bang makikita mo sa araw-araw na nagigising ka? Right? To a lot of people, the view is very important. So choose a location that offers a great view if a view is something that's important to you. So for example, for RLC residences, we offer our Amisa private residences in Cebu, which has an incomparable view of Punta Engaño in Mactan, Cebu, a 360 view of the bay. So if this is important for you, consider it. To a lot of people, they don't mind if they look out the window and they just see the next tower. But for a lot of other people, it's important to look at what they'll see every day when they look out the window. For the unit, well, whether pre-selling or RFO, what do you want? Do you want a studio unit, a one-bedroom, a two-bedroom, a penthouse? If it's pre-selling, you have a lot more flexibility to choose your floor, your preferred view, even the unit number or letter that you want. For those that believe that number 8 is a lucky number, you can actually look for a unit with an 8 in your unit, and if you're willing to pay extra for that one. For pre-selling, it gives you a lot more flexibility. Some of our buyers want to get combined units. They want to buy a studio and a one-bedroom, combine it, so it's a bigger unit. So most developers offer pre-selected unit combinations for that. For RFO, it's not so customizable kasi nagawa na yung building right? So you're limited a lot more if you want to customize it. So one thing to consider, if you're okay with the standard cuts offered by the developer, then go for an RFO. If you want to customize it a little bit, pre-selling might be better for you. Elevated lifestyle spaces. Every time we introduce a new tower, we try to upgrade the facilities, the amenities, not just within the unit but also outside. So for example, for our third tower in Sync, we offer work from home nooks, advanced smart home features. It's fiber ready, and there are upgrades we've provided to the kitchen and toilet and bath. Some of them are not available in Tower 1 just because Tower 1 was launched 3-4 years ago. So something to consider as you look at RFO and pre-selling. We've also upgraded deliverables. So a lot of times, when it's a multi-tower project, the developer will upgrade the deliverables even in the amenities. So sometimes Tower 1 will have a smaller pool, but Tower 2 and 3 will have a bigger pool and other upgraded amenities. So something to consider as you explore between RFO and pre-selling. The deliverables get upgraded as we introduce more towers. Advanced unit and residential features. As I mentioned earlier, for pre-selling, if you get recently launched towers versus previous ones, you may get advanced features. And as I mentioned, smart home features are upgraded as we go along for each tower. For RFO, yes, you can still upgrade the unit amenities, pero it takes a little bit more effort kasi again, nagawa na yung building. Now, before I close off, some tips that we can offer as you search for your home, or what as we call it, home investment hacks. Research, research, research. Don't rush into buying property. The biggest mistake you can make is for someone to force you to buy property na hindi pa kayo sure na yun yung gusto nyo, kailangan nyo, at kaya nyo. So do your research. Ask friends who have invested in real estate. If you don't know anyone close who has invested in real estate, then find a real estate seller that you can trust because they will be your partner as you buy your new home. For those who are interested to explore RLC residences, who's from RLC residences? Raise your hands. Look for an RLC residences seller and we'll be more than happy to help you. So do your research. Make that informed decision. Get the opinions of people you respect, admire, not just Heart, although she's someone I respect and admire a lot, but talk to people you trust. Reach out to them and ask for their opinion. A lot of factors go into buying a home, so ask them about it. And lastly, location potential. I mentioned earlier that location is a very important factor when you choose it. But nowadays, a lot of projects are located in areas that we call estates, where the development potential is very high. So for example, for RLC residences, we have estates in Pasig and QC called Bridgetown along C5, Sierra Valley in Cainta, the first in the east, and Montclair in Porac, Pampanga. When you buy a condo in an estate, you can expect not just to get your typical neighborhood, but more advanced developments, and that can be a factor on what you're looking for. For RFO, really take the time to visit the property. Inspect the unit, inspect the common areas, inspect the amenities, talk to the property management office. Get to know the community so you can make an informed choice. And then, maybe just to close off, know the purpose of why you're buying real estate. Again, pag medyo magaling yung nagbebenta sa inyo, minsan mako-convince kayo to buy right away and sign. But ask yourself the question, why are you buying property in the first place? Is it a retirement gift for yourself? Now, once you hit retirement age, you'll go back to the Philippines and retire? Is it for your family? Is it for investment purposes na you want to rent it out to people and they'll just pay for rent? So know the purpose of your investment, whether it's for end use, as an investment, it's a gift. It's a great way to guide you on the choice you'll make for your condo. As mentioned, visit the property if it's ready for occupancy. If it's for pre-selling, find out as much as possible. Huwag kayong mahiya magtanong. A lot of times, you get embarrassed to ask basic questions. Magkano ba yung monthly? Paano ko babayaran to? Kailangan ba cheque? Huwag kayong mahiya of property. You're making a bet on the developer who's building it for you. Deal with reputable developers, brokers, real estate sellers, and know about them. At the risk of bragging a little bit, for RLC Residences, we're a multi-awarded real estate developer with over 30 years of experience. We have been successfully delivering and building beautiful, well-designed condominiums for a long period of time, and we've won a list of awards I'm not even going to mention, right? And the reason why we were awarded all of these is because we tried to put the customer at the center. So try to know your best about the developer who you're buying a condo from, because you're making that big bet, and the developer should be your partner as you invest into your new home. We are guided by the wisdom of a video that talks a little bit more about how in RLC Residences, we try to put the customer at the center.
Everything I know about parenting, I learned from my daughter. Because of her, I had to learn how to be funny. Because of her, I had to learn to be attentive. I learned a different kind of caring. I discovered a different kind of love. I was not sure how to be a father, but I became determined to provide her with all the happiness I could provide. I want to bring joy into her life, exactly like how she brings it into mine.
So I had to raise the game. Your dreams have always been the core of our foundation. For over 3 decades, we have been steadfast in our commitment to serve you with better choices, authenticity, and integrity. Mastering our craft involves understanding how you and your family can experience delightful moments every single time. Because it's about living the best life.
The decision was not made without hesitation. Was I really ready to take the plunge? So I did what any strong, independent woman would do these days. I searched online. And after seeing all the pictures, reading about other people's experiences, I decided to meet up with someone. He sounded so confident, and he made me feel very comfortable. But most importantly, what he showed me was just fantastic. So while I was still nervous about deciding, deep down I knew
This is a place worth calling home. A home that's smart and ready for your future. A beautiful home that you can be proud of. A happy place that welcomes you each and every day, allowing you to make deep and meaningful connections.
You could say that we are a family that lives on video calls. We have a digital home virtually connected by the internet, despite being very physically separated by an entire ocean. But to have a real home in a safe community, well, that has always been a dream. A dream that my husband and I agreed to make sacrifices for. So please forgive me if I'm a little bit emotional. But when I saw the unit being turned over to my family, I couldn't help but cry. Even from halfway across the world, it is an overwhelming feeling to see
your dreams come true. For us, this is a lifelong commitment. We are here to build the dream homes you envision. Welcome home to RLC Residences.
Thank you very much. Welcome again to the PPIE and welcome home to RLC Residences.
Thank you, Chad, for the very insightful presentation. Now visit the booth of RLC Residences and learn more about their projects. Wow, I'm pretty sure the audience are very, very excited now that they hear the rest of the speakers for today. But before that, let me first thank our partners. Our food sponsored for today, we have Teriyaki Boy,
Agemon Express, Paluto Restaurant, Wendeli. Our social media influencers, Abdul Bandon of MPD Pinoy Newsfeed, Danwa. And of course, our community partner, Middle East, Bayanihan Abu Dhabi Council, Emirates Culinary Guild, Filipino Nurses Association in the Emirates, Institute of Electronics Engineers of the Philippines UAE Chapter, Institute of Integrated Electrical Engineers of the Philippines UAE Chapter, Masta Bartenders Association, Philippine Business Council, Abu Dhabi, Philippine Institute of Certified Public Accountants,
Philippine
Dubai.
Society of Mechanical Engineers, Society of Human Resources, Resource Professionals and Associates, United Architects of the Philippines Abu Dhabi Chapter, Al-Alfia Filipino Private School, Far Eastern Private School, New Filipino Private School, and the Philippine Global School.
All right, so before we proceed to the next session, I have exciting prizes to give away all afternoon, all evening. From today and tomorrow, I have, ako lang. We have TFT merch, we have t-shirts, eco bags, mugs. We also have gold. We're giving away gold, small appliances, perfumes, wallets, dinnerware, and of course, the grand prize to be given away tomorrow, Philippine Airlines round-trip ticket from Dubai, Manila, Dubai. Woo! So I'll just keep the mechanics simple. First one to come on stage and give the correct answer wins a prize. That's it. Okay.
Alright, but before that, si Gia ng ating ka-TFT ay nagtatawag ng mga tao para makisali sa ating game ngayong hapon na ito before tayo mag-proceed sa ating next session. But, yes, Rain, you can
I
proceed
can
with...
answer now the Q&A. So all you have to do is just come forward and just say the correct answer. Anyone can join, even you, Vince. No, charot lang. Okay, so for the first question, so questions are actually about either about the event, about the presentation. So easy lang naman siya. Okay? So ngayon, ang first question natin, ano ba ang ibig sabihin?
Ka-TFT, mahilig ka bang magkape? Alam bang kapag inipon mo ang gastos mo sa bawat cup na sa PPIE, sabi nila, for as low as 700 to 1,000 dirhams, pwede ka nang makabili ng iyong dream property sa Pilipinas. Okay lang naman magkape paminsan-minsan kasi nga naman, deserve. Pero ang konting pagtitiis, kapalit naman ay pagtupad sa pangarap mong matamis. Mas masarap nga namang magkape sa bahay na matatawag mong iyo. Kaya naman magkita-kita tayo sa Philippine Property and Investments Exhibition na gaganapin sa November 5 and 6 sa Crowne Plaza, Dubai. Mag-register na sa www.ppie.com. Kasos mo sa bawat cup ng kape sa loob ng isang buwan, pwede ka na makabili ng property? Hindi ako nagbibiro, natutunan ko yan sa PPIE. Sabi nila, for as low as 700 to 1,000 dirhams, pwede ka na makabili ng iyong dream property sa Pilipinas. Okay lang naman magkape paminsan-minsan kasi nga naman, deserve. Pero ang konting pagtitiis, kapalit naman ay pagtupad sa pangarap mong matamis. Mas masarap nga namang magkape sa bahay na matatawag mong iyo. Kaya naman magkita-kita tayo sa Philippine Property and Investments Exhibition na gaganapin sa November 5 and 6 sa Crowne Plaza.
Sa likod kasi
Yes,
nakikita po kayo sa aming Facebook sa The Filipino Times.
We
Para
are
sa mga
live.
nanonood,
Yes.
para sa mga nanonood, nandito po tayo ngayon sa Crowne Plaza. We'll be here until tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Para
That's
sa mga gustong matuto ng financial literacy, we have experts that will be speaking today and tomorrow. And of course, you have options of different properties na maaari niyong pag-investan o magtanong, di ba? Paano nga ba
Yes,
mag-start
and
mag-invest?
aside from properties, we have banks, we have airlines na nandito din ngayon. Yes, that's
ayan.
correct. And for the third question, ganun lang po kadali. Third question is that, what do you call, kung kayo ay nakinig, what do you call the properties that are newly launched but are not yet developed or ginagawa pa lamang? Ulit, dito po, punta po tayo dito. Huwag po tayong mahiya. Ano pong tawag sa property na gagawin pa lamang?
Pre-selling.
Alright, pre-selling is
Pre-selling,
correct.
congratulations.
Congratulations.
Ito yung winning stop. You
Alright,
can just
for the
claim
fourth
your
question, mabilisan lang to kasi we have a couple of sessions pa. We don't want to get you guys, waiting for that. Fourth question, kung newly launch po iyon, kung newly launch or pre-selling yung gagawin pa lamang, ano naman ang tawag sa properties na already completed in construction, buo na yung building. Punta mo dito sa harap.
FO.
RFO or ready for occupancy. Ikaw pala magbibigay.
Ayan, congratulations.
Every session, I'm gonna ask 5 questions. Ganun lang po siya kadali. All you have to do is just listen to the speakers lang, the topic. So yon. So let's not keep everyone waiting.
All right, and now let's keep the ball rolling. We will proceed with our first panel discussion, wherein we will be hearing about the most in-demand properties in Manila. Let us open the floor for our discussion titled Hinahanap-Hanap Ka Manila. Friends, let's welcome our panelists. The regional head of Ayala Land International Sales Incorporated, we have Manny Arbues. Division Head and Vice President of Greenfield Land Corporation, we have Michael Lo Reyes. Palakpakan po natin, palabas na po ang ating mga speakers.
And Group Head of Sales of Federal Land Incorporated, Maria Margarita Science Resurrection, moderated by Founder and Chief Executive Officer of New Perspective Media Group and Editor-in-Chief of the Filipino Times, Dr. Karen Rimo.
All right. All right, again, while we're waiting to start our session, binabati lang ulit namin, and would like to thank our sponsors. We have RLC Residences, our gold sponsor, and for our silver sponsors, we have Ayala Land, Greenfield, Double Dragon, and Federal Land. At ang aming mga exhibitors po today, we have DMCI, we have DMCI, we have Houseland, and of course, Sino pa? Sino pa ang aming exhibitor? Nakaikot na ba ang lahat?
Yes, our participating exhibitors, Santa Lucia Land, House Land Development Corporation, DMCI Homes, BPI, Remata, Piso Pay. And speaking of Remata and Piso Pay, we would like to invite everyone to visit New Perspective Marketing International, Inc., where you will be able to get to know more about the newest value for money real estate marketplace remata.com.ph and learn about the latest mobile app, Piso Pal.
Again, binabati po namin ang lahat na nanonood sa ating Facebook ngayon, sa The
Yes.
Filipino Times at PPIE Facebook accounts. Nandito po tayo ngayon sa Crowne Plaza. For today and tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., we'll be doing a lot of financial literacy talks. We have experts here who will be sharing their expertise, their knowledge, deep knowledge on investments, para po matuto tayo, makatulong on how we could actually arrive on a sound decision on what kind of investment we're looking for, or that would fit yung
Investment
requirement
appetite
natin, di ba?
natin.
Yung investment appetite natin. And of course, meron tayong mga actual exhibitors here na maaari ding ninyong ma-consult at makita yung mga projects and developments na available sa kanila. At karamihan sa kanila, meron mga special offer din na ina-offer ngayon lang, exclusive sa ating PPIE.
And by the way, Vince, you guys, siguro pagka-register nyo, those who are registered as visitors, kayo po ay binigyan ng 3 papel.
Yes.
So 3 post-it stickers po ang ibinigay sa inyo. Why? Because we are partnered with Filipino schools at ang mga estudyante po ay gumawa po ng kanilang own interpretation ng kanilang dream home.
Ayan, so
dream
kung nakikita
house.
nyo doon sa hallway natin, may mga posters at meron din mga miniature na gawa sa recyclables, di ba? Pwede kayong bumoto at bukas i-announce natin ng winners from the participating schools from Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and Sharjah, di ba? Mga Philippine
Yes.
schools yan. At hindi na po namin kayo paiintayin pa. Ang ating session title, Dinahanap-Hanap Ka Manila. Again, our panelists, we have Manny Abres from Ayala, we have Michael Law from Greenfield, and we have Gita from Federal Land,
Land.
and of course,
Moderated by Dr. Karen Remo.
thank you.
Thank you very much, Rain. Thank you very much, Vince. Our homegrown master of the ceremonies from New Perspective Media and the Filipino Times. We're very, very happy that actually we have the best speakers on the floor right now who will give us an idea about investments in Metro Manila. Yes. I think everybody, even if you did not go to school in Manila, kahit hindi ka nagtrabaho sa Manila, there is a desire to actually invest or live in the city or send your kids to school in Metro Manila. So we're very excited because a lot of our existing investors could be looking at their second investment or third or fourth. We had a lot of guests in the past na nakakagulat. Meron po silang 12 to 40 investments in properties. And it's a surprise. For the longest time, we always think that pag OFW, hirap na hirap. That's true in many cases, but there are also many cases where people have been wise and people have been...
Parang if it's a choice between Metro Manila or other countries, other areas in the Philippines, you can never go wrong with Metro Manila. No? A lot of Filipinos, kasi halimbawa, taga-probinsya ka, ang first impulse mo is hahanap ka nung nandoon sa area mo. No? However, recently, because of yung financial literacy, no, yung mga ginagawa ng mga activities ng mga Filipino groups or Filipino organizations sa UAE, teaching Filipinos, no, tinuturo nila financial literacy, you can never go wrong pag nag-invest ka sa Metro.
Pero Philippines is nakaka-apekto sa pagbili ng ngayon ng mga properties. So, kung dumadami ang demand, so tumataas din ang presyo.
Of course. Always there. So it is a really nice place to invest on. If you compare it to the outer skirts, like the other provinces, there is, of course, definitely property value appreciation, but it's compared to the key cities in Metro Manila, definitely mas mabilis ang pagtaas ng presyo.
Of course, capital appreciation is very much an aspect from Michael of Greenfield. Ano ba ang Metro Manila? Is Manila and Metro Manila, are they two different jurisdictions? Asking the panel here.
Manila, when you say Manila, that commonly ito yung Quiapo, no, yung old Manila, no? Quiapo, hindi ako masyadong familiar doon sa ibang areas, pero where the university belt is, yung mga Luneta side, yan yung Manila. No? Metro Manila, however, is composed of several cities. So kasama na dyan ang Quezon City, Pasig, Makati, hindi ako masyado pamilya pa sa that's Metro Manila, no? And if you're talking about investing in Metro Manila, meron, sad to say, no, hindi lahat ng areas of Metro Manila are really good for investment. Meron talagang mga lugar dyan na nandoon yung highest, not just return on investment, but even rental income, which is very attractive sa mga Filipinos abroad, no? Yung meron kang passive income habang nagtatrabaho ka dito sa UAE or abroad, no? Tapos meron kang investment sa Manila na paparentahan mo.
Live po tayo ngayon sa Facebook page ng The Filipino Times. So hello po sa ating 4.5 million viewers on a monthly basis. So whatever that we're seeing right now could be used for us. And mga tanong po ng ating ka-TFT, I was looking at the questions. We have got webinars on almost every week, you know, in preparation for this event. And ang mga tinatanong nila is, hindi ba saturated? Puno na ang Manila, tapos nagmo-move out na sila. Talaga bang meron pa ring market for growth ang Metro Manila, considering na umaalis na nga yung mga tao palabas, especially for the work from home. They can work in Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, hindi na kailangan bumili ng property sa Manila. What's your point on that? What's your perspective on that? Anyone can answer, yeah.
Ako na yung mic, so ako na. Well, nung pandemic, no, nung naka-lockdown, that may be true. Pwedeng totoo yun, no? However, because meron ng back-to-school order, no, ang Department of Education and then the government, and then even yung mga nagtatrabaho, no, hindi na masyadong ini-encourage yung work from home, no, back to the office. Even kami sa Ayala Land, no, balik na kami sa office. Anong ibig sabihin nun, di ba? Yung dati na malayo ka, nawala na ulit. Gusto mo pa rin, nakatira ka doon sa lugar kung nasaan malapit yung office, no? Kung nasaan malapit yung mall, yung pwede ka mag-shopping. Ang value, mas mataas na doon nandoon yung sentro ng activities. Nabanggit mo kanina, Makati, nabanggit kanina yung BGC, no? Ito yung mga sentro ng economy, sentro ng activities ng Metro Manila. Diba? But napansin namin, other than that, itong may university area, because meron ng return to school order, no? Meron kaming mga properties, yung mga ready for occupancy. Abida Prime Top, 100% occupancy. Kasi yung mga estudyante, bumabalik na, nagre-renta ulit, no? So, other than opportunities doon sa investment na capital appreciation, no, pwede ka rin magpa-upa. Yan. Okay? So may mga ganun na rin na movement on real estate investment within Metro Manila.
So bumabalik na ulit ang Metro Manila. Yes. Since we're opening, the Philippines is opening back again. So ano mga nakikita niyong in-demand na investments sa Metro Manila, Gita and Michael?
Well, as far as investment types are concerned, residential is still very much in demand, especially nga in the key cities. Like Manny was saying, during the pandemic, naapektuhan talaga yung market nung nawala yung mga POGOs. Nagsiuwian sila tapos hindi na sila makabalik and they've been slow to come back. But at the same time, there are other industries naman that have taken over. Like throughout the pandemic, yung mga logistics companies, mga e-commerce, fintech, they've all been aggressively expanding and recruiting. So pag lumalaki yung workforce nila, a lot of these companies are now also purchasing properties or leasing properties for their employees. So the residential market is still very much in demand and even growing. Even within Metro Manila, or we have the Capital Tower in E. Rodriguez, biglang nag-pick up na, not even before the start of face-to-face, but you know, people are seeing the opportunity because of capital appreciation. So they've realized that since developers are offering very flexible terms, that now would be a good time to buy.
Especially sa mga balak magkaanak dyan. O, di ba? As early as now, mag-invest na ng mga investments para sa inyong magiging anak or sa inyong mga little kids. if ito yung nagiging trend na talagang mag-aaral pa rin sa Manila, at the end of the day, of course, there are wonderful schools. May mga nagnanais o nangangarap na isend ang kanilang mga anak sa magandang school sa Manila. Okay, what about for you in the case of Greenfield, Michael?
Well, actually, the funny thing was, during the pandemic, there is actually a surge of increase of demand of properties, which is on the horizontal part. I think the people realize...
Wait lang, Michael. Sa atin po mga kababayan, ano po yung horizontal? At saka ano po
horizontal
yung vertical?
is house and lot. And vertical is condominium property.
Okay, okay, ulit din natin So pagka po ganyan, horizontal house and lot po. Pag nakarinig po kayo ng vertical properties, condominium. I want today. Sige, Michael.
There you go. So there was actually a surge during the start of the pandemic. And the funny thing was, we even had to release phase 3 of one of our projects, which is Solen Residences in Santa Rosa, Laguna. I think people started to realize that space is actually important because we were confined in a small space, lalo na pag naka-condominium ka eh. Because I myself, I live in a 30, 50 square meter property in a condominium in Makati, and I was kind of restricted. So people started to realize, especially if you have the money, why not invest in a huge or bigger property? So definitely, I think this is one of the reasons that people started to invest again back in real estate.
Ayan. So kung ikaw pala thank you, Michael. Kung ikaw pala yung mag-i-invest para paupahan, because smaller spaces are okay. But if you're gonna live there, baka medyo malaki-laki na yung space. Sino po nakaranas ng pandemic dito? I think 100% tayo. Di ba? And po sa mga nakaranas ng pandemic, lahat po tayo yun. Na-experience po ba nyo na maburyo sa kasama nyo? Kasi 24 hours siyang kasama sa bahay. Sino po dito yung medyo nainis sa kasama sa bahay? Oh, according to our survey, 40%. Yun pong 60% shy. Ayaw pong i-admit. So definitely, we can see the trend here that even if there's pandemic, tumataas pa rin po ang demand. And I heard that the demand was actually impressive even at the midst of the pandemic. Is that right?
Yes. In the case of Ayala Land, Karen, madagdag ko lang, no? Yung demand for properties outside of Metro Manila and yung mga lot and house and lot, actually nasa upper level. No? In the case of Ayala Land, ito yung mga Ayala Land Premier and Alveo. The demand, however, no, dun sa mga mid-market at saka yung economic housing brand natin like Abida and Amaya has actually grown. No? Na-realize namin, ang rason is because itong mga projects natin na to, although condominium siya, they have a very strong property management service. No? So, ang condominium management nitong mga projects namin, nakaset siya, na-identify agad how to handle COVID cases. No? I myself had COVID February of last year. Doon ako sa unit, nag-quarantine. And I was so happy. Ang ganda ng service nila. No? Hindi, meron kaming RFID card. Immediately, kinancel yung access ko. I cannot go out. Di ako pwedeng paikot-ikot, which means safe yung ibang resident. Yung mga food deliveries ko, other deliveries, dinadala sa unit, paakyat. I don't have to go down. No? Mag-isa lang ako. Siyempre, wala akong kasama, quarantine ako. So, na-realize ng mga tao, if you are living in a condominium unit, okay lang as long as nakaset ng maayos yung property management. And there was even a standby nurse and doctor. So, saan kahanap ng ganong klaseng residential investment, di ba?
I love that point. Kasi kanina, we heard from Michael, one of the good things when you're having a horizontal property, house and lot, is may space ka. Di ba? The problem is, wala kang shared resources naman in terms of logistics. Whereas, if you're actually living in a vertical apartment, makikita mo na, ay shucks, meron palang concierge. So may maghahatid sa'yo ng pagkain and ever. And pati po sa delivery sa Philippines, di ba? Kung sa house and lot ka nakatira, which is good kasi basta meron kang tao sa bahay, pag delivery point na sa mga condominium, may tatanggap ng delivery 24 hours in a day. So there are pros and cons, and Metro Manila apparently can offer, as you mentioned, it's just the old Manila. Metro Manila pala is bigger na. So, if we're looking at investing, pag sabi mo, where are you gonna invest? Metro Manila. So, Metro Manila ba, like Laguna is included in there?
Yes, it
Hindi ba?
is now.
So depende on the developers on this one. I am Vince.
Laguna is
Kailangan ko
Calabar
ng-
For
zone.
Greenfield, yes.
Calabar zone. Okay, mga geography here. So, ang ano po natin here is that when we invest, so alam natin ang purpose, alam natin ang pros and cons para hindi tayo nagugulat na lahat iaasahan natin from one development. Okay? Could you, we're
Dati, kailangan tayo mag-ipon ng ilang taon para lang makapag-come up ng down payment na 20%. Kasi lump sum down payment, that's the only term available. But now we even have very flexible no down payment terms na yung 20% na yon pwede mong bayaran. Some developers are even offering up to 60 months. Then as soon as you can complete that 60 months, pwede kang mag-avail ng in-house financing sa developer, or you can also borrow from the bank. So that's one, that's Siena Tower, and then the other one is Quantum Residences, which is at Taft Avenue and Hill Puyat Avenue. So magandang investment instrument naman kasi nasa university belt siya. So ang dali-dali, ang dami-daming, ang laki-laki ng demand ng mga parents na nagpapaaral sa mga anak nila. So those are just two of the properties I can mention.
Okay. So, Git, what is the starting point of the prices in there?
Like you can have a one-bedroom unit for 4 million.
Meron kang studio?
Walang studio sa Siena, but sa Quantum Residences meron, and also starting at about 4 million.
Okay, so how much would be the monthly installment for the down payment?
Condominium already, and we even have ready for occupancy units where imbes na magbayad ka ng rent, since ready for occupancy na yan, we have lease to own terms. So you're just paying a little bit higher than rent for the lease to own term, but really you're leasing for 2 years. At pag nakabuo ka na ng 20%, the good thing about this, you can move in right away. So it's like you're really renting a property.
And how much is the rental for a one bedroom in that area?
Let's say, for example, if the rental would be about 24,000, the lease to own term would be about 30,000.
Okay, so that's a good point. So 24,000 pag renta ka, then if you actually buy it on a monthly amortization or monthly payment, that would be 30,000.
Oo, pero investment na yan, hindi na yan rental expense, di ba?
And then the property is what you call, diba, unlimited income na siya after mabayaran yung property. So yung income yan, tuloy-tuloy na siya after mo mabayaran. Okay, so that's nice. Thanks, Gita. Michael?
For Greenfield, we have pre-selling at Zadia. This is located in Santa Rosa, Laguna. We are selling Tower 3. It's one of our sellable markets here in UAE. We sold a lot since 2019, even during the pandemic, 2020, and last year, 2021. Our price point here is around 3 million only, and you can actually avail to this with no down payment at all, and the reservations around 18,000 only. Also, we have another property in Greenfield District located in Mandaluyong, which is the heart of Metro Manila. It's ready for occupancy. The name of the project is Zitan Residences, and around at least 5% of the contract price, roughly around 500,000. And then yung monthly amortization natin would play around 20 to 25,000 pesos only.
Michael, this idea, is it a house and lot? Is it a lot?
They're both vertical properties, condominiums pareho.
Okay, you mentioned kanina you have got house and lot. How much would be the house and lot in that area?
The house and lot, we're selling lots in Santa Rosa, Laguna. We have 3 projects. That's Solen Residences, Pramana Residences, and our ultra-luxury project, which is Trava. The price point for this one is around 35,000 per square meter to 50,000 per square meter.
Paki-convert nga in total.
Passive income ka, gusto mo ready for occupancy, yung mapapaupahan agad. For that, ang Amaya brand namin is number 1. Ano among the projects ng Amaya yung fastest selling? Amaya Cubao. Because it's located right along EDSA. Napaka-convenient. Pagbaba mo, EDSA na. May bus station. Hindi ka kailangan may sasakyan. No? Another very good project ng Amaya is Amaya Show. No? Again, along Show Boulevard, malapit din EDSA Show Boulevard. Basta naririnig ko yung 500 dirhams. Yung mga members ng team natin who are here, I think sila yung pinakamagaling na kausap ninyo. No?
Yes, of course, meron po tayong booth. We are supported by our property specialists for anybody who wants to know more.
Yes,
Punta lang po tayo sa kanya-kanyang booth.
Basta sigurado ako, 500 dirhams yung monthly lang yan. If you want bigger unit, kung gusto mo mas malaking unit, yan, yung mga prime top. Again, nasa mga 500 dirhams lang yan. Kung gusto naman ninyo mas mura, no? Pero parang mas future na rental income, Makati South Point ng Abida. Ang target market niyan, yung gustong mag-rent na taga Makati, yung mga employees.
Uy, teka, masyado nang madami.
Madami na ba?
Oo,
Sige,
nakakawalo
sorry.
na.
No,
So, ano na tayo?
Okay.
Wrap up. But you will see na kayang-kaya po natin. Kung tayo po ay mag-iipon, di ba, to be able to do that, sabi nga ni Manny, meron tayong 500 dirhams. Sabi nga ni Gita, andun na tumataas ang value ng property, especially dun sa mga students area. And then Michael also mentioned that nakikita natin na hindi lang sa condominium, pati pala sa mga house and lot, dumadami rin ang demand for everyone depending on the purpose that you have. Mga 2-3 liners, anong inyong best advice sa ating mga ka-PPIE at mga ka-TFT dyan?
Well, before I give any advice, I want to survey the crowd here. By a show of hands, how many of us here have made an investment in real estate already? Please raise your hand. Okay, maybe 70, 80%, no? Okay, next question. By a show of hands, how many have regretted that you made that real estate purchase? 0. So my advice is that really the best time to buy real estate is yesterday, because your property appreciation, your property will appreciate. It will not go down. Even in the worst of times in the Philippines, during the Asian financial crisis, the global financial crisis, the pandemic, the worst that happened is that the prices just stayed level, but it never went down. So if you think, I'll wait another year or two, maybe it will be more affordable, it will not. You better buy now.
Okay, thanks, Gita. The best time to invest in property market was? Yesterday, nakikinig sila. Thank you so much, audience. Michael?
Well, my piece of advice is that now so we're creating a lot of communities in every town in every part of the Philippines. So, ang advice ko lang is that I know OFWs because my dad used to work for the Philippine Embassy and I've been traveling with him everywhere we go. So, ang advice ko lang, never stop investing on yourself and of course back at home. The reason why you guys are actually here because you want to earn a good life and probably open up a business and buy your future home. So never stop investing.
Okay, never stop investing in yourself and back home. Okay, thank you, Michael. Sir Manny, what's your advice?
Okay. Gusto ko i-address yung mga kababayan natin na okay na kayo during the pandemic, no? Ayoko i-address yung mga medyo nanganganib pa sa trabaho. Ayoko na magdidesisyon kayo and then eventually, sabi nga ni Gita, no, you'll regret because nainggit ka lang, may kabarkada ka na bumili, di ba? So kung okay ka naman sa UAE, maganda naman yung trabaho mo, valued employee ka nung boss mo, okay? Huwag ka matakot na mag-invest, no? Marami kasi ako napansin, no, after handling international operation for several years, marami na ako nakakausap na kababayan, takot na takot sila. Anong sinasabi ko? Yung sweldo mo ngayon, di ba, hindi yan pareho ng sweldo mo 5 years ago. Tama?
Sabi yan ng TFT survey, tumaas talaga daw.
Tumataas ang sweldo mo, no? And definitely, because yung sweldo mo ngayon, mas mataas kaysa sa sweldo mo 5 years ago, what more 5 years from now? Okay? However, ito lang yung pinaka-importanting ina-advise ko lagi. Be prepared to make some adjustments sa lifestyle. Sa mga lalaki, medyo hinay-hinay sa pagbili ng Nike. Diba? Yung mga Jordan. Sa mga babae, hinay-hinay. Louis Vuitton. Sabay tingin sa bag ni Karen, no? Medyo hinay-hinay tayo doon. Kung dati nagde-date tayo, dinner date 3 times a week, medyo once a week na lang siguro, no? Or twice a month. Hinay-hinay muna tayo sa gastos until such time na medyo nakapa na natin, no? Nakakapagbayad na tayo ng down payment natin, medyo may konti na tayong napapadala sa pamilya natin, no? And then that's the time, eto na, pwede ka na uli bumili ng Jordan, pwede ka na uli bumili ng Louis Vuitton, di ba? Be prepared for that. But nonetheless, huwag kang matakot. Okay? Because kung ano man yung sweldo mo ngayon will not be the same. The worst that can happen to you, yung sabi ni Gita, regret. 5 years from now, you will regret, sana pala yung mas malaking unit na yung binili ko. Sana pala 2-bedroom na lang yung kinuha ko. Sana pala mas malaking bahay yung binili ko. Okay? So, if you need, obviously, no, among all of us, ako yata yung pinaka-maraming wealth of knowledge dahil sa kulay ng buhok, no? Nandito lang ako, pakalat-kalat lang ako dyan, I will still be here tomorrow. Kung meron ka lang gustong kausap, no? Kung meron kang konting advice, and ako kasi I'm very, very direct, no? Makipagkwentuhan tayo, no? Tama-tama, I'm battling jet lag, no? Kakadating ko lang yung metro sa galing Manila. Kwentuhan tayo. I'm willing to share a wealth of knowledge and experience sa inyo lahat. Thank you.
Wow. So hinay-hinay sa gastos and don't be afraid to invest. Again, we're live in FB, in the Filipino Times. Hello po sa ating mga viewers dyan. Usap tayo. Sabi nga, di ba? Let's usap. Let's talk. And we'll be able to talk more about your future. So we've learned from the experts, you've heard it. From Manny Arbas of Ayala Land, Gita Suarez, right, from Federal Land, and Michael Reyes from Greenfield. So ano pong hinihintay natin? Visit PPIE. Be able to speak with the experts who have flown all the way from the Philippines to just be in here for all of us. And thank you so much for your time, for the Well of Wisdom. Abangan po natin sila. They will be in their booth. And please feel free to speak with all our experts. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Ka-TFT, mahilig ka bang magkape? Alam bang kapag inipon mo ang gastos mo sa bawat cup ng kape sa loob ng isang buwan, pwede ka na makabili ng property? Hindi ako nagbibiro, natutunan ko yan sa PPIE. Sabi nila, for as low as 700 to 1,000 dirhams, pwede ka na makabili ng iyong dream property sa Pilipinas. Okay lang naman magkape paminsan-minsan kasi nga naman, deserve. Pero ang konting pagtitiis, kapalit naman ay pagtupad sa pangarap mong matamis. Mas masarap nga namang magkape sa bahay na matatawag mong iyo. Kaya naman, magkita-kita tayo sa Philippine Property and Investments Exhibition na gaganapin sa November 5 and 6 sa Crowne Plaza, Dubai. Mag-register na sa www.ppie.ae. See you there!
All right, so before we proceed to the next session, Vince, let's do another quick Q&A. We're giving away TFT merch, t-shirts, eco bags, and mugs. We also have gold. We also have small appliances,